All right. I was thinking of pitching something, and I've been playing a lot of like Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess on the Wii U, the HD remake, and it's a really good game. I mean, they don't really do that kind of game anymore. I feel like it's just the open world stuff, and that's kind of what I'm afraid that Breath of the Wild is going to be like. But I was thinking about it, and I like the Zelda universe, so I'm thinking I'm gonna pitch my own Zelda game, and I'm gonna just stir it up a little, because I have my own idea of what Zelda could be. So we start off this game on a farm, and I mean, I'm one of those people who really liked the first bit of Twilight Princess. I know it's not the most action packed thing, but it builds character, it builds suspense, it builds a emotional connection with you and this Ilia or something, uh, the girl who loses her memory later, and I feel like that's kind of I like that. So I'm gonna start off at a farm as well, and we are playing as this farmer girl called Zelda, and she lives with her parents on this farm. Imagine the is it the Moo Moo farm? The thing that is like in the middle of the Hyrule field in Ocarina of Time. Kind of like that, not like as surrounded, but just lying up out on the field. And you start off as Zelda, and she is actually the protagonist of this game. Uh, and she, of course, she does her things on the farm, and in the end, everything goes wrong, and she stumbles upon. It starts with she stumbles upon this grass temple, because of course there's gonna be a grass temple. Imagine like this. Imagine this deku tree, right? Like thing, something. Maybe it's even is the deku tree, and she does the. She has this. She gets this sword, uh, which is not the master sword yet, but it's an old sword, and she gets through, and she's not as she still has her like farmer clothes, um, uh, and she will later garb the clothes of the hero actually, because these even they're not Link's clothes per se, they're the garbs of the hero, and in this story she is the hero, even though the incarnate of Link is still in here somewhere. I'm gonna come to that. So she does that, and she clears the thing, and she knows that she gets to know that the order of the world has gone wrong, and that somehow the way things are supposed to be isn't how it's supposed to be, uh, and that is all because of a dark force uh, that is kind of vague at the beginning. But she sets out on a quest to try and dust it, but uh, and when she gets back into the farm, she sees that it's been attacked, and it's being attacked. So she gets in, she sorts it out, but in the process, her dad is killed. So Zelda's dad is killed, and on and her mother gives her something on the quest when she actually sets out to. I don't know if it's revenge, but she sets out to save the world, and she gets this something that reminds her of her true lineage. This game takes place, if you do the Zelda timeline, it takes place way far after any other game. So it's like the lineage of Zelda has been. She's still the same lineage that were princesses and ruling the land before, but it's been uh, it's been forgotten about. But she gets this like memorabilia to remind her of that. But it hints to that at least, and she gets to And she sets off on her horse. Of course, it's called Epona or whatever. It's at least at the beginning you can choose your own name if you want to name it like Fart Knockers. I don't know. And she gets to Hyrule Castle and to meet Prince Link. And Prince Link is still the keeper of the Triforce of Courage, and Zelda is keeper of the Triforce of Wisdom. And this is where it gets vague, because I haven't really thought this far. But basically, Prince Link has to go into hiding because someone's after him. So Zelda helps him escape. He hides out on her farm. Stuff happens. She goes through dungeons, and I kind of don't want them to be the usual grass, fire, ice, whatever water dungeons. I kind of want them to be a little more, have a little twist, kind of like the ice dungeon did in Twilight Princess, like this kind of haunted house. More like, imagine having like a Western themed dungeon, or having like a train themed dungeon, or a mystery murder themed dungeon, or some stuff like that. Just mix it up a little. I wanted grass dungeon in the beginning because that's like sacred or something. So that's what I want. And it all encapsulates. After that, if you've gathered like 3 stuff from the first dungeons, Link gets kidnapped. He actually finds out he gets kidnapped by his father, who is the villain of this game. And his father has taken control of the land forcefully, as in the king, the actual king, and the actual succession of rulership in Hyrule is supposed to be Zelda's, and you figure out that way later. So now you have to gather the another thing. Of course, I haven't. As you see, it's kind of vague, but another thing and another kind of done, and then in the end you realize you have to, because when Link gets kidnapped, you get he transfer onto you his Triforce of Courage, and so finally now you have to find. In the end, you have to find the Triforce of Power, and you find out through a series of whatever that the Triforce of Power is in possession of the leader of a tribe of kind of a nomad tribe. They travel the desert looking for with their oasis to get on. They're not really good guys because they are very secretive and very private, and if you get too close to them they might kill you, or they might rob you, or whatever. So they're very much outsiders. They're not evil per se, but they're outsiders, and they don't really want to have anything to do with the world outside. And so you get to this leader, which name is Ganondorf, and he finally agrees to give up his Triforce of Power as a loan, of course. So in exchange for something, and I haven't really thought about it yet, but it's he promise you, he makes you promise something that isn't that bad really. It's like, promise you won't do this, something like promise you won't out us in front of the world, or have to drag us into this something. That's what he makes Zelda promise. And so in the end, you defeat the father, and the father becomes like a hideous. Maybe he has even something. Ooh, maybe you defeat him because the Triforce of Power invokes the power of Ganon inside you. Oh, aha! This is kind of cool. Like, Zelda becomes this great monster and like beats the shit out of some other monster, and they just go berserk. And in this process, Zelda has to do something that she feels she has to do, and it contradicts the promise she made with Ganondorf, and Ganondorf, the ending, like say it's ending sequence where she comes to give back the Triforce of Power, and he takes it, and then kind of ominous, like, yeah, I'm gonna take over the world now, and everything is back to normal. Like Zelda time, the Zelda thing is Zelda is the princess now again, and she's the queen now, I guess. And Link gets to be the hero again or whatever, and Ganondorf is back to being a bad person because of something that Zelda did. And it's kind of a fun little twist on the story. I wish I could see a kind of game like that. But please tell me if you like to see that. If you feel like that was so bad, or do you think that that would actually work? Please tell me your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that crazy shite. Man, I'll see you some other day. Take care.